Can someone confirm if they are able to see my screen?
Yes, we are able to see your screen.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, yesterday we discussed about how to locate an element, right? By using ID, name, this class name, tag name, link text, partial link text, CSS as well. So today we'll discuss about XPath. So yeah, before that, do you have any websites which you guys want me to locate elements?
Yeah, Amazon site.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's say so we have this website. So if you just want to enter something in the search box, so what we do is, how do we inspect? Just right click, we get an inspect option over there, and then it highlights that element. You see here, type equals to text, ID is something, name is there, and this thing. So how can we uh, identify this element? Let's say this ID, as I said, right? So we can take ID, and so ID of this thing, controller. So mostly, yeah, there's only one match. So I guess ID would be unique in this case, and you can use py.id with this locator. Same way for name as well. If you can uh, field keywords, but not sure if this field keywords would be unique. It is unique for now. So yeah, one of one. If you see here, you would get that thing. The same way, any other elements, like let's say you want to select this mobile, right click, inspect, then you get a tag. In the sense, it's an anchor, it's a link, and the text is mobiles. So you can take this one. For href, the attributes are this. So same way for customers, if you see customer service, you have again a tag. The same way we have the other ones. Likewise, I guess you can inspect any of the specific element if you want. For now, I'll just explain the XPath thing, and then we'll jump on to this one. Uh, I create a separate class, locators, using XPath. So here, yeah, how to identify the locators. So I'll just copy paste some basic code. So through XPath, if we have to identify, how we can do, let's say same element, whatever this username is, just right click on, just inspect, and you get this path. So when do we actually go for XPath? When we actually don't have any ID, name tag, or CSS, or the partial link text, links tag, all that properties, all this properties, whichever is like with this property, if we are not able to identify, then we go to XPath. So CSS or XPath. So this is what we have. But before that, we need to try with those these properties. If we get it, fine. If we don't, then we need to see. So here as well, just make sure that you are taking some unique identifier, as I said. So ID. So sometimes on the page you would have ID called username 123. So when you have number, you can uh, kind of think that that number might change when you again revisit that page. So in our automation script, when we write that username 123 and then automate it, and then at that time when we execute the script, the ID of that element changes to username 8910, something like some other number. Then in that case, our username 123 won't work, and then that element, it gets failed and it says element not found, exception it throws. So in that case, uh, uh, so since it won't be able to locate the element, we get that error. So in that case, we shouldn't be using that ID as the unique identifier. So in that case, we need to see if there is some other else, other properties or other attributes that we can take else for that same username 123. Let's say it is username 123 instead of username. So in that case, what we can do, we can go with XPath. So how we can write a XPath for anything? So first of all, XPath here would be of two types. One is absolute XPath, the other is relative XPath. So this is an interview question as well. How many types of XPath are there? What's the difference between absolute XPath and relative XPath? So absolute XPath is nothing but starting from the uh, first point or initial node or HTML tag. So or starting, whatever you say. So starting node or this thing. So let's say we have element, and as I've shown you yesterday, we were going through this code, right? The HTML code. HTML, we have head, body, if. So let's say if we want to go to this particular element locator, let's say. So how we write absolute XPath for this? Let's say ID is app, div, and this thing. So if we want to go to this particular path, we can directly take ID or name as uh, ID property as app with this thing, and we can use by dot ID with app. We can say that way. But let's say if we are not using all those things and we are using XPath. So for XPath, absolute XPath, as I said, so from starting position, we'll be going to that particular required element wherever we want. So for now, we just want to select this app, this div, right? This div tag with this thing. So how we go? You just write HTML. So if you say forward slash HTML, one forward slash, so one step HTML, and then the next tag is what? Since this is under this one, so here we have slash body. When you say, so after HTML, wherever the body tag is there inside. So when you say forward slash, which means it is inside. So you see HTML and head, body we have. So inside that, if you have to go, instead of body, we can say slash HTML. Inside body, we can say head. So you see here, so it is highlighting to the header tag. Same way, but we don't want to go inside head. If inside head you want to go to this say the title head slash, you can say title. See, so this is the absolute XPath for title. So if you want to know the title of this thing, so we can take this path as well. So if we wanted to navigate it, so here we get this title tag, it is highlighting. The same way, let's say we want to go to some other, instead of title, we wanted to go to this link, preload link. So here, instead of title, I don't want to go title. Inside head, I want to go to some link. So I can say link. So when we don't specify anything here, what we get is 1 of 7, which means, so inside head, there are many link tags. And then out of that, so first one, it would highlight and it would say how many are in the same level, same sibling. So we can say same sibling, same level as well. So we get 7, which means there are 7 link tags under this head, right? So in this specific one, if you want, we want the third one, preload this thing, right? So if you want third one, in the bracket itself, you can mention of 3. So this would give you this link. So it is highlighting, and it is only one. So this is what your HTML tag would look like. So let's say we just don't wanted this path. I want to go to body. Inside body, I was saying this div, this thing, right? So here we can say div, but there's only one div again. So if there were multiple divs, div, then we need to specify the count, the number of this thing. So here, if there is nothing, we can say 1 as well, or if it is 1, that's fine, we don't have to mention. So this is a div. Again, inside this div, let's say we wanted to, so if we want to go inside, if you want to go to inside of this particular tag, the element, then we just have to say /. So it points inside this what you want to do next. So if you see this there's again only one div. So if I say again div, so there are two divs closing tag, but let's say first one we have, so we can take this first one, we have this second one, div tag. So two div tags we have, uh, login layout, and then there is another container bottom one. So there are two divs. So let's say we want to go to this login only, so that's why we give div 1. And then so inside this, what else? So we have again some div, again some login logo. So to this login logo, if you want to go, so inside this div, again we have to say div, so it is pointing there. Again inside this div, we want to go to second div, which is login logo, let's say. So div of 2. So div of 2, if you say, you see we have got that element. Now this would give us the login logo related element. So this is one XPath. And inside this, again, if you want to go to image source, let's say, so /img is the image tag. So with tag names, we can just navigate it one by one. So here we got this image tag. So this is the logo thing. Let's say, so logo, if you want to take, copy this, come here. So this is your absolute XPath. So if you wanted to highlight or want to do something with this particular element, we can write this XPath, right? So same way, I'll just comment it. So this is your absolute XPath traversing through the required element. So here we wanted to go to this image tag. We wanted the logo of this thing. So that was in this element, right? So this element we traverse from starting point till that particular point. So this was our XPath. So this kind of XPath is nothing but absolute XPath. Now same way, the other, let's say other, for username we wanted to do it same way. So again, this one by one we can do, or else just right click, inspect, and the other easiest option here we can get is just right click, copy full XPath. So right click, copy full XPath, and that you can paste it here. So yeah, you see here HTML body, so div 1, div this 2, and then this div, and then input, that input tag. So it is highlighting one of one, which means absolute XPath for this is this one. So we can take this XPath. So this is your absolute XPath. So how would you write? Driver dot find element by dot XPath is, we have that expression, and inside this double quotes we need to paste that XPath whatever we have got. So this is absolute XPath, right? So absolute XPath here. Then to that element, what are we doing? We would just say dot send keys, and then username entered. some value I'm giving. So this is your absolute XPath, right? And now, so I have absolute XPath is clear. Just traversing this to till one by one element, and that way we need to do. And we can get the absolute XPath, but by just right clicking on that element thing, and then go to copy section and copy full XPath. So we have this option. Next thing, so what is relative XPath? So relative XPath is nothing but, so absolute traversing from starting to end, right? But relative is what? Just directly we can point out to that particular element. For example, here we wanted this username, so directly here itself we can go. How? So you can say instead of single forward slash, you need to say double forward slash for relative XPath. And then okay, the syntax I would mention here. So the syntax would be tag name and then angular, this brackets, square brackets, at the rate would be attribute equals to, in single quotes or double quotes also we can say, but we'll use single quote, and then value of the attribute. So this is the syntax for the relative XPath. So same way, let's say like tag name at the rate attribute equals to value. So now can someone say what is the tag name for this element? Can someone say what's the tag name for this particular element, for this username?
Input.
Input. Cool. So tag name is input, so we can write double forward slash input. And when you say double forward slash input, so on the page there are three elements, three inputs. One would be this, one would be this, and other one somewhere else, we are not sure. So one thing is hidden. So second, if you see, yeah, two of three input is this one, and then next input is this one. So there are three, one is hidden, two are on the page. So we have got two things. But so as I said, for XPath, whenever we are doing, we want the unique element. So this, since it is not unique, we need to go to the next thing. So what is the other tag name here? Like apart from tag name, what else we can give? Attribute and value. So if you see, so for now I'll remove this. So we have got tag name and then some attributes. So if you see here, we have class attribute, we have name, we have placeholder, we have all these things. So here what we can do is this name attribute. I'll take name as for now. So double forward slash input is our tag name, square brackets, and then at the rate. This way also we can do at the rate and double quotes. So here instead of double quotes, I'm saying single quotes. I'll tell you why we would prefer using single quotes over double quotes here for the XPaths. So here we have got this. So if you see one of one, so this element is now been identified using XPath, that to relative XPath, with the tag name, attribute name is name, value of that attribute is username. That's what we have got. And if you see here, this would give us the relative XPath. So this is our relative XPath, double forward slash. Just comment it. And then, so similar way, if you see two forward slashes, then tag name is input, and then attribute equals to the value is username. Same way, like let's say for a particular element, if you don't know the tag of that input, then instead of this putting a specific tag, you can say star as well. So even this is possible. So yeah, this thing, so we can write the other alternate to this is this way as well. So instead of tag, we can write star as well, which means anything, whatever tag is input, anchor tag, div, or whatever that HTML tag would be. We don't know that, or we don't care whatever tag it is, but we want attribute to be name and the value of that should be username, is what we are trying to say here. So this is one thing. Other thing, so instead of name attribute, can we take something else? Yes. So you see here placeholder equals to username. So we can take that as well. So just uh, better to copy paste. I would prefer using copy paste, but so whenever you are doing it, it's better to if you can copy paste these things. So placeholder is what? U is capital here again, if you see. So that's why copy paste is just don't write type in this way. Better to copy paste it. So here I know the tag of that thing is input, so I can use this one. So at the rate placeholder is username. Placeholder in the sense this thing, if you see, this is placeholder. So for password, see this can be again, since it's similar type and this is also input, so this can also be input, and placeholder for this is username. So if we want this one, so instead of this username I can say placeholder as password, you see. So it is, we have got this one as well. So at the rate placeholder as well we can take, right? So if you want to identify this thing, so other attribute, same way at the rate class, if class is this thing, you can take class that value and see if it is one of one, then you can take. And every time if that class remains constant, it won't change. So input oxd, next time axd or something else, if it changes, then this is not your unique path, you need to take something else in that case. So but for from our experiences as we go on, so we would come to know, okay, few attributes won't be changing. And yeah, that also depends, by end of the day that depends on completely on developer, but developer as well, he won't change all these things again and again, right? So name, id, the address of that path won't be element address won't be changed very frequently. Few attributes would be there wherein that would be like kind of generated randomly. So in that cases we need to make sure we don't take those elements in our consideration. So this is how you can use relative xpath with attribute and value. This is one. Like apart from this, the other thing we can say is, so we can use other apart from placeholder. Let's say if placeholder and type, was there some, so type is link. So same way, let's say for a particular element, when we do, we get one attribute that we take is common for more than one element, right? So here I don't see, or can we take this? Let's see. So I'll copy this class name, and instead of this at the rate class equals to, so if you see, yeah, correct, this is a good example. So here if you see, I've taken the class name and then input at the rate class is this. So what we have got, results, two results, right? One of two, which means there are two elements on this page. So if there are two elements, again we want to make it unique. So first one is this username and next one is password. So apart from this property, we can also take other properties. How? Just after this, you can specify and operator, which means this attribute and value, and the next one, the other as well you can specify. So what's the other? You can take either name or placeholder, other things which are which makes actually these two elements unique. So in that case we need to see. So autofocus data, this here class name we have, right? So name, if I take, I can say name would be unique, so I would use it this way. So you see, now we have got just one element, so we can use and operator as well, and so n number of attributes as well you can take in this xpath, not only just one or two. We can take again, if this is not making unique and you want other or even if it is unique and you want to use, yeah, you can use it. So after this you can say and some other attribute and value at the rate some other attribute and value also you can specify. So this is how you can give the XPaths using this. This is using AND operator. Right? And so instead of and we can use or as well. When you say or, which means uh, so first property, if it is enough or if it identifies, that's enough, or the next property. So for particular elements there would be a scenario wherein sometimes one attribute, whatever one attribute you have taken, this would be enough to identify, or sometimes the other property. So that's why in that case we can use that or this one. So here actually I don't see that example over here, but if we have such elements wherein okay, let's say the element was this, then other one was placeholder is username, and here instead of this at the rate name username, let's say we have found that at the rate name is having this one, so we can use this, or at the rate again placeholder we know, right? So placeholder you can take, so placeholder equals to this. So on the web page, yeah, here let's say we have given capital U username, and sometimes it would be capital, sometimes it would be small if we say. So only if you try to give only this at the rate name equals to username, you see it is not getting. Now next time when you load the page, let's say the small u is changed to capital U, then in that case it would identify this element. So sometimes it might identify, sometimes it might not. So in that case you can use this or operator here. So apart from this property we are saying or placeholder is this. So directly I know you can take placeholder, but I'm saying the usage of this or operator here. So you can take multiple these things and again give just specify or over here. So this is using and an or operator. So multiple attributes, if you want to identify with multiple attributes, you can use this thing. And what else? Yeah, the other things that I would want to tell is, we had this yeah, this link or here, let's say. So here we have got anchor tags, right? So A, and then customer mobiles, we have all these links. So here what I'll do is, so using text as well, you can identify. Now let's say I want to identify this login thing, login button, right? So how can I identify? Just right click, inspect, and then this login text is under this h5, and then login, right? So how to identify this thing? So we know the tag is h5, so // we can take h5. So we have just got one, which is what we can take. But this thing as well, if there are multiple h5 elements, then we would get more than one result, right? So in that case, it's better to specify what we are actually looking for. So if we don't know tag, let's say we don't know tag, I won't specify tag, so I would say /* and then we know the text of that element is login. So that was there in the closed tags, right? So that we can specify. Here what we have to do is just say text function, we can use text function equals to, in single quotes, the value of what we are looking for. So this way for login, if you wanted to do, so I would say tag I don't know, but text function we can take and then specify the login value. So here inside this tag, if you see this value is nothing but the login value. This value, if you see, this is the text of this element, this HTML element, right? So this thing you can specify in here. So at the rate text, make sure you sometimes for attributes we were using at the rate this thing username, so people might use at the rate text equals to text name is login, so that won't work here. So if you say at the rate text and if you don't give this one, so this doesn't identifies, it doesn't highlights. So for text you shouldn't be using at the rate. So text is kind of a function, and function we know we just have to specify with this brackets. So text function and then the text of that. So we can use this text one as well, right? So are you guys clear to whatever I'm saying, or any doubts? Someone wants more clarification on any of those specific thing, let me know. So here we have got text. Same way here, let's say through text we want to identify what was our element here, mobile, right? So text function we can use, or some other properties. At the rate href equals to this address also we can give through XPath if we want to identify. So there are multiple things. So, but this is not about what. Let's say, so here take forward slashes at the rate, so anchor tag, and href is the what is this? Href is the attribute, and the value of href for which we are looking for is this value, and so it is identifying this one element, you see. But that href we just don't take it, because sometimes something might change, again our XPath would fail. So that's why we don't take this href property. uh, let's take text of that. So you know text is mobiles, right? You just copy this mobiles, and here what you have to do is, and whatever tag is there or star, then text function, and sorry, text function and mobiles is a value. So if you see one of one element we have got. So this is how you can write the text function. So for any of the text which you see and you want to write it, you can write it this way. Just inspect and see some that text should be present inside this code. So if you see end of this uh, angular bracket here, and then so this text is inside the same tag. Sometimes the text would be at the rate inside a value would be there, attribute. So at that case, at the rate value equals to mobile you can take. So you shouldn't be taking text function. Text function would be working only when the text is inside this brackets. And now here what I was trying to say is, so we have got this. So from this element we can go to any previous elements or the next ones based on our requirement, wherever we want to navigate. Let's say some element here I wanted to go to customer service, and customer service I don't find any unique property, let's say. So in that case what you can do is, you can uh, so in that case you can uh, take this class some other reference, some other variable reference. So some other reference we can take, like the other element we have got. From this element we can go to the next one or previous one based on our requirement, as I said. So how to go to the next one? So this, again, if I say this one forward slash, when I say, which means after this we are trying, inside this we are trying to go, but inside this there are no elements, so there won't be any use of giving this single forward slash or double forward slash as well. And you would say a, so do you have a tag again inside this thing? No. So it is on the same level, right? You see, and not inside of that. So here, instead of this, what you can do is, we have a thing called FOLLOWING. So some XPath access we have here, and that XPath access like kind of functions, predefined word syntaxes in XPath that you can use to traverse through the other elements. So here you have following, and then these are nothing but at the same level of mobiles, right? So same level, if you want to traverse, what you have to do is you have to give a word called sibling. So sibling is nothing but, in general terms, you know, right? Sibling would be of our same age. So same age, let's say same thing, same level, that is what we want to traverse. So that's why we give following. Why we have given? Because we want to go to the next one. So if it was previous, instead of following, we can say preceding. And so for now here, following sibling, and then just give this two double dots this way, so semicolon twice, and then which tag name here is what we need to specify. So next tag that we want to go is A, so we can say A. There are, after that mobile links, on the same level there are 26 links, 26 elements, but out of that 26 you want to go to the first one. So A of 1 you can say, which means A of 1 you would get this customer service. You can do this way, or A of, again, instead of 1 2 or some number, we can give other property. Inside this we can take this one, let's say if this is unique, so at the rate this value, so this is unique. Now as CS4, so CS4 is this, and CS3, CS2, so CS5 they have given that way. So since this is unique, that's fine. If it is not unique, then again you can take something else as well. So here what I'm trying to focus on is how to use following sibling. So since we have one particular element reference, from that particular reference we want to traverse to previous one or to the next one, we use this way. So here indexes as well you can use, but indexes we generally try to avoid using it. So we have got what, following sibling. So this is using following sibling, right? So syntax, uh, just make sure you write a proper syntax. So one element, whatever you have, after with particular to that element, we want to traverse to the other ones. That is when we use some other property. So next one, if you want following, instead of this following, if you want to go to the previous one, so let's say A of 1 I am using for now. So A of 1 is customer service, but from mobiles I just wanted to go to sellers or sell. Let's take sell. So if I wanted to go to sell, you know, it is in the same level, so we need to use sibling, but instead of following you can use preceding. So this, I'm not sure if would be too much for you guys, but yeah, few things if you just know, that's more than enough for you to start with. And few tricky elements would be there wherein you won't be able to identify it quite easily. So in that cases only we need to use this kind of uh, approaches. So here we have preceding sibling. I have used A of 1. A of 1 in the sense it is pointing to something else. Cell, I want to go to this seller. So A of 1, 2, 3. So previous, if I say instead of 1, go to 3. So if you see 3, it is highlighting to this cell. Here, if you see, it is highlighting to this cell. So from mobile, we are navigating to cell. So this is how we can do. So this is preceding sibling. And normally following as well we can use, and preceding also we can use. So it's so you see preceding, when I say directly preceding, so previous thing. So previously for this element is, there is nothing else, so it is going to the same level only. But if there are like here, if you use for this div, so instead of this I would say we have div. So this div, so you see this div is pointing here, and from this div of one, let's say. So preceding is pointing to some div, and then from this div, if you want to go to the previous element, it's again so here likewise we can give again, so forward slash preceding you want to go, or following you want to go, or preceding sibling or following sibling, if you want to use, you can use it that way. So here instead of these things also, you can use siblings, remove the siblings and only following and precedings. So you have what so all till now we have gone through this we know normal relative XPath we have gained. With this way you were able to identify it. So some elements, if you are not able to identify, you can use uh, this text function as well, right? Text function, you know, through text function how to do. And then what else we have seen by using following or following sibling or following sibling, and then preceding is one and preceding sibling is other. So we have gone through these things. And what else? So there is some contains keyword as well, yeah. So contains thing, if I have to say, so apart from this, there's something called parent, ancestor, and this thing. So so mobiles is here, it is pointing to this element. So from this element reference, if you want to see what's the parent uh, div tag for this, so here what we can do is for forward slash, we can say parent, two semicolons, and then tag name. Which tag? I'll say div. So div is what the parent tag for this is. The parent div tag for this is this id nav bar. So this whole thing it is highlighting, you see. So this way also you can take, so parent div tag one of one, that's fine, or some index or some other reference. So div tag at the rate id is equals to nav shop, we can take those multiple things as well here. So we have got this. So this is parent tag as well. So likewise, if you have a requirement, you can use a parent tag here. So parent, and then just like parent, we can also have child. So instead of this child, in the sense inside uh, we have this element, and then child is inside this. If we are wanted to go, so we use child, but inside this element we don't have anything, right? So that's why we can again combine this element. So here we are at this particular point. Now inside this, let's say we want to go to this cell. So child of this a we can use. So here you can use child forward slashes semicolons and a of first one, if you just want to go. So you see we have got to again cell by using parent and child something. So likewise you can traverse it, you can do some multiple kind of go to some websites, try using all this parent, child, ancestors. These ancestors as well, ancestors in the sense parent's parent is what ancestor in general terms we know, right? So we use ancestor, and then child is there. So these are the things that we can use. So apart from this access, XPath accesses, we can use what else I wanted to tell about contains. So I'm just looking for which particular example. Okay. So let's say we have this ID and tag I don't know. So if you say star and then at the rate ID equals to this as well, we can give, right? So this is one. So apart from normal this thing, we can also use contains syntax. How to use that contains? So instead of this, you can say contains and then open close braces. Inside this, you specify tag name. So okay, I'll just tell you the syntax. How to use that syntax? It would be if you have tag name, that's fine. If you don't know, you can keep star and then you use contains keyword, and inside this bracket you write at the rate attribute, just like here you are doing, right? So at the rate attribute is what you need to mention first, and second parameter is value, just like this. So there won't be any equal to. Here we are just saying this attribute should be equals to this, but contains, this attribute should contain this value, whatever we wanted to specify. So we have contains. So similar way we also have starts with. So instead of this contains, it would be starts with. So when you say starts with, so this attribute value should start with whatever value we mentioned. So these are our syntaxes. So how to write for that particular thing? So we have at the rate ID as the attribute and comma in single quotes the value. Sorry, what was that? ID. So which element were we looking for? Let's say this one. Copy. So we wanted that particular div. If you want, just keep this. So here contains at the rate ID and then the value. So it is giving one of one and we can use it, or multiples as well. Sometimes we use, so some as I said, at the rate name equals to 1 2 username 1 2 3 we get. So in that case only static text would be there, username, and then 1 2 3 it changes to 4 5 6 or something else. So in that case what we can do is at the rate here, uh, that element was here, right? I was saying, so here if this was username 1 2 3, okay, and for this what, how to write? If this was our tag, how to write that? So star, we know tag name. If you don't know, that's fine, you can put star, and then contains, I want to use contains angular bracket, this function open close, and then at the rate tag name, attribute name is name, and then value would be in this single quote. So value, you know, it is username 1 2 3. So this is actual value. So this is at the rate name equals to username 1 2 3. So next time when this page loads, it wouldn't be 1 2 3, it would be 8 9 10, as I said. So if it is that case, just give the partial. So you know partial link text. So same way partial text here we are giving. So some part of that portion, if that attribute, if it identifies, that's fine for us. So other dynamic thing, if it changes every time, when you refresh, so it won't be 1 2 3, it would be something else, or it won't be there. So in that case as well you can use this attribute. So this is contains, and yeah, so at the rate name contains. So this as well you can use it. And what else? So I said also starts with. So let's say I just give this name instead of username. So at the rate name is only this partial text is identified, just name based on that, or ame. Just using this ame as well, it is identifying. So this is how contains work. Partially, whatever attribute you are giving, that attribute value partially also, if it is identifying, it would work. So AME, we have this, right? So here, uh, I've also said about starts with. So at the rate name here, what it starts with username 123. So AME doesn't start. So if you say AME and say starts with, if you use this function, it wouldn't identify, because there is no such element on this page with attribute called name and the value as AME, starting with AME. It is contains would work. There is one attribute we know that contains, but starts with, when you are saying, so this would starts with user. So you see, as soon as I type some keyword here, something that is matched, so starting with that particular name attribute, then it matches and it would give us the result. So this also you can use it. So contains and starts with. So I guess we are done with these things. There is a lot of this. So few things also, if you know, that's fine. And other thing, yeah, that I wanted to tell is there is one kind of plugin again. Someone has developed to identify this XPaths. So one name was, if I have to see, what is that? It's yeah, we have CrowPath. CrowPath for Chrome. So there's one plugin, just like earlier we used to have Firebug, Firepath for Firefox something. So here for Chrome we have CrowPath. So just search for this CrowPath, and then here you would get an option called Add to Chrome. So add this plugin, add this extension. So then here that plugin would be added, CrowPath. Now since we have that plugin, now let's say if you want to identify some XPaths, write some XPaths here, how to do that? So open this website. Through XPath, if you want to identify username, now let's say, so how to do? Just right click, inspect. So you would have this view, let's say. So here we have username, we are pointing, right? So we have got this. So how to use that plugin? So here in the bottom section, you would get this arrow mark, click it here, and you would have option called CrowPath. Select this CrowPath. So this CrowPath by default, whenever you use, so it would give us uh, some suggestions or some kind of this thing. So whenever we are inspecting, so here it is giving selector. So relative XPath, if you see, it is pointing some relative XPath, CSS selector. So you want to identify this element using CSS selector, you can use this path. So it is highlighting, you see this green color here. So it is highlighting that. Absolute XPath, if you want, you can use for that. And tag name, just by tag name, if you want to use, you can use this input. So, and here in this section, selectors we have. So let's say if you just want to select relative XPath, so it would give some relative XPath. So right click, inspect. So this thing, or demo credit, demo shop.tricentis.com. So some for few elements it is giving us proper, few elements if we are not good with that, so we can take this way. Here if you see, for the email, you see what relative XPath I've got, same // tag name, attribute and value. So here if you see attribute value, @ID is there, name is there. So with that, automatically this CrowPath is generating few giving us few suggestions which one you want to take. So you want to take relative XPath or CSS selector. So CSS selector, if you want to identify, you can use directly this by.css selector and this value #email. So absolute XPath as well, you can use this absolute XPath. By tag name, if you want to identify, you can use this tag name. So this way you can do, or just relative XPath if you want, right click, inspect, and then this. So this XPath you just say and hit enter over here. So as soon as you see there is one element matching. So one element matching is what we are looking for. We can use this XPath now in our code. So copy paste this XPath and write by dot driver dot find element by dot XPath and paste that XPath dot. To that we want to enter some value. So dot email ID. So we can give that way. And what else we can specify? So at the rate id, at the rate, so relative XPath is there, absolute XPath is there. So same way you would have you would get this option suggestions here. So you can use those things as well. So for link, let's say if you want to identify, right click, inspect. As soon as you say, see, you get contains text login. So here it is giving some so one thing is you can directly use link text by login. If you don't want to use link text, partial link text, p-link text, if you see here, partial link text is giving us log. And here absolute XPath is also being given if you want to use the absolute. So absolute XPath, one thing I forgot to tell. So absolute XPath and relative XPath, which one to prefer? What's the difference? Is if you see here absolute XPath, it is traversing from one single from starting till end, right? And then if something is changed in the middle, if some path, some elements have been added or removed, then your absolute XPath which you have used in your code wouldn't work. So you shouldn't be relying on that absolute XPath. In that case, we just have to follow the relative XPath. Relative XPath directly points to the required element. So if some other element is being changed, it doesn't affect our XPath, right? So our XPath should be that consistent. So we can take that's a major difference between relative XPath and absolute XPath. Why we want to use that? And relative absolute XPath, it starts with single slash. Relative, it starts with double forward slash. So this you can take, and yeah, any element, let's say if you want to identify this element, right click, inspect, and then here you would have some relative XPath is giving something else, because sometimes few element it might not identify as well. So partial link text it has. And then but partial link text, if you see there are three, which means there would be three text matching with this particular partial link text. So that's why you see one, which means these are unique. But again, if you can rely on this, that's fine. But as I said, you shouldn't be using this one. You need to write it your own XPaths here. So how to write that own XPaths? You can take link text directly here. It is not suggesting here. So yeah, directly link text with this value you can take. And then or text contains, so some spaces would be there, we just want to ignore that spaces, you can use contains in that case, and you can locate that particular element. And so this is CrowPath, and similar to this CrowPath there is another extension called selectors hub. So if you go to selectors, it is more advanced, I would say. So selectors hub, just go here, you would get same again, add to extension. If you have not added, if it is added, it shows already added. So just add, click on that, and then here under extensions it would be added. So here we have selectors hub. Now let's go to again demo workshop website. This element login, if I want to do it with selectors hub, we get some copy, relative XPath, all those things. Or let's just say inspect, and as soon as you click on inspect, here again under these dots you would have CrowPath already there. But let's say we want to use selectors hub, so click on that selectors hub. So here you see you would get relative CSS selector, so some suggestions for that element. So you have hash email, so you can use that here, and when you say enter, so it would give one element matching. So relative XPath, we have relative XPath also we have, so we can use this XPath as well, and then enter one element matching. So then there are some ID thing, ID also you can use, it says. And class name you can use, there's only one, it says. and absolute XPath, there's only one result. But with tag name input, there are 10 results. So yeah, this way as well, like selector sub is a bit more advanced, or some things which we don't get from CrowPath, we can get it from selector sub. So I would suggest you can use selector sub. So only when you are not unable to get the XPath of that by your own, like on this inspect element, if you are doing, and then you are unable to find any particular this say label. So this label, if you want to identify, right click, inspect over here, and then so you get some suggestions here. So RSS, relative XPath, CSS. So CSS you can use relative XPath, or you can use this normalized space, these things. So some suggestions you get. Tag, label is 3. So out of the 3, if you are taking label, then here you would get 3 elements matching. So as I said, one specific one we want, that's why apart from this label, you can write some other XPath, like here. As soon as you type as well, you would get some suggestions, so password or all this stuff. So here I want to label we have, and then uh, what are the property. So normalized space, here we have the directly we can use that, or for equals to email, for equals to password, some properties we have here. So with that, it would be unique one. So labels, if you want to add, so for this button, if you want, use directly inspect this, or so here you can use XPath or normal other things as well, like what else can be identified using this. And you see so this button value is register. So there is nothing called by dot name, we have by dot id, we have by dot value, we don't have those things. So in that case, we need to use uh, the XPath attributes. So attribute is value, and the value of that value attribute is register. So you need to use this. Here it is already suggesting us, so CSS or XPath. Go for XPath, I would say. Prefer more XPath over CSS as well. I prefer doing that. So yeah, anything whatever is convenient to you, you can use it. So here you can use this XPath, and then just want to check. So here one is given, but again, for your confirmation, if you want to check, add that XPath here, paste that, and then say enter. So here you would get one element matching. So then it would also highlight. So yeah, we want this particular XPath. So go there and use that by dot XPath, give this value. Dot on register button you want to click, so you can click it. So this sign in, welcome to sign in thing is also there. So here you can take this h1 normalized space, this value, and relative XPath, we have this thing. So prefer like whichever element you want to interact with, this search stores, search text box, if you want to do. So here you would get relative XPath id with this thing, and name is q. You can take by dot name q, by dot id directly this, because it gives only one result, so you can use directly that. So if you don't want to use id or name, then if you want to use XPath, come here, you take this XPath. Likewise, you can take the identify the locators. So once you are more familiar, you got to know how to identify the locator, it would be easier for us to automate any stuff. So here, so what was our general, so here we wanted to do this page automation, right? So how, so one thing is to open browser, this thing. So what I'll do is locators, I guess you are familiar with. So does anyone have any doubts, or if something is not clear, can you're free to ask, like unmute yourself and you can ask questions, doubts in XPath identifying. So identifying locators itself, whole id, name, any confusion, anything, how to locate any of the web page. So with this thing, again, now whatever, be it Amazon or Flipkart, I generally prefer you guys don't use those websites for now, because those are a bit advanced, and elements keep changing, and uh, I would say just try to practice on some dummy websites, and then once you are familiar with these websites, then go on with the advanced things. So Yeah, if it is clear, can someone confirm if whatever I've explained till now is clear to you? Okay, UV. So right. So here we had this scenario wherein we wanted to open browser, load this URL, enter username, password, and click on login button is what we wanted to do. So I'll create one package called Selenium test cases package I'm creating. We'll create one class, so which what are we automating? We are doing this orange HRMS, right? Orange HRM will use this. And I want main method finish. So in this orange HRM, let me take some basic code. So Chrome path, like in this Chrome, I want to execute. So I'll copy this code, paste it here. So here we have got the steps: Chrome, how to open Chrome browser, maximize the browser, open URL. So and then after this, want what is our next step? If you see, this are our further steps, right? So this is our third step that we want to enter username, and our fourth step to enter password, fifth step to click on login button, right? So third step, let's say next step is enter username. So how to enter username? We have this website here. So this website, we want to identify username. So right click on this. So I want to, I'll open that again. Orange HRM. So we have got this website. How to inspect? Directly, if you know that those things, use that. For now, since we have downloaded that plugin extension, so I'll use selectors hub. And here we have got this relative XPath. So you can use relative XPath or name as well. Name is username. So here, if you see, okay, name is username, I can use directly these things. So you can either use this, or if you know how to write, you use this. So here, if I see, I get this name attribute. So username. So I can use this value. So copy. I'll go here. I'll say driver dot find element by dot. So with name we are identifying. So by dot name. So by dot, when you say, see what all methods are available. We have ID. With ID you can find. With link text, if you want, you can find. With name attribute, with name you want, you can find. Partial link text, tag name, XPath. So we have CSS selector, all these things. So we want to find how do we want to find this element? By dot name, we know name attribute is there. So here also, if you see, name is username. So that name we can take. So by dot name, we get that method, and in that method it accepts string of name, parameter called string of name, which means some string value it is accepting. So in double quotes we need to specify this value, username. Copy this username here, paste it, then enter username. Dot, how to enter? Using send keys. So send keys, and then here in double quotes username entered. Let's say I want to just pass this, that value only. So I'm passing it this. So to enter username, we use this statement, driver dot find element with this dot send keys. Now same way for password, if you want to do, right click, inspect, and then here you would have what type is password, name is this, placeholder. So I will take name. I know name, right? or this time let's say I would take XPath. So XPath I know how to write, so you can take this XPath, copy this XPath for again, like just say if you are identifying one element, it says one element matching, that's fine. So here you come, write driver dot find element by dot, through XPath we are finding ID don't have, and name we don't want to use it, so we are using some other thing. So I'll use XPath here, paste that, and then dot send keys. So here some value, I am saying password entered, and then our fifth step is what? Click on login button. So how to click on? Inspect this, right click, inspect. We get some suggestions here, or this element here, button is the tag and text is this. So you can use this, or what else? I'll use this relative button, normalized something we are getting, right? So we can use that. So driver dot find element by dot XPath. I didn't copy it. One. So normalized space, you get it here, right? Oh, here I didn't change. Sorry. So for password we can get this, or relative XPath placeholder. Yeah. So I'll take this placeholder thing, copy by dot name by dot XPath is my XPath is this, and then for login it is dot. So that is a button, and we what we generally do, we don't enter anything, we don't have to do send keys, we would be clicking it. So clear in the sense, if you want to if there is some text and that text we want to clear before we do something, so we can use clear method. So here we can use click, since we want to click, that's it. So now since we have written all the step whatever we want, just right click and run and just see if it's executing as per what we have designed. So sometimes if some element it fails, we would get no such element found exception, unable to locate this thing. See what has happened. So we have got some exception, some error, no such element, unable to locate CSS selector. Where is that CSS? Oh wait, we have done the same way. So unable to locate method CSS selector. Why are we taking, which one is taking CSS selector? So if you can go to this orange HRM in Java 27. So here it says by dot name, and with name is username. So can we just cross check if that path is correct? Inspect this. Name is username. Username and dot. Or the other thing would be, that's basically because if you see closely, when we have entered use URL, so the page is loading, and what Java would do is, as soon as it executes this line and then it is trying to do this next step immediately, so there are no wait times actually in between this thing. So if it's quickly working, that's fine, but sometimes if it doesn't work, we need to use some wait times here. So one wait time that I can say as of now is that, later I would say in depth, but for now we use implicit wait. So how to use that implicit wait? Whenever you have open browser, let's say, and here itself I want to use that implicit wait. So driver dot manage dot timeouts dot implicit wait, and then duration we have here. In duration you can write duration dot, you would get some things. So minutes you want to wait, for hours you want to wait, or for seconds you want to wait. I want to wait for seconds, so I would use the seconds method, and in seconds I would say 30 seconds maximum. So implicit wait is nothing but we are trying to uh, implicitly wait for a specific amount of time. So when we use this particular line of code, what it does is, so whenever the driver, before it throws an error, it would wait for the specified time. Within that period of time, if it finds that element whatever we have asked, then it would continue the execution. Even after 30 seconds, if it's the page is not loaded, or if it is not able to find, then after 30 seconds it would throw us an error. So earlier, since it was doing quickly, I guess that might be the reason. Let's see, I have added implicit wait, and then this implicit wait would be added throughout the driver instance. It's not to specific one particular line. So we have a explicit wait as well as an thread dot sleep. So you see, the page was loading, that's why it didn't uh, enter that text, and we got some error. But now, since we have added implicit wait, so the code is executed fine last step till it has come. And even on the web page, if you see, it has entered something, and then it says clicked on login, and it had got a message saying invalid credentials. So later we'll do with valid credentials, and some other scenarios we will do it later. But for now, this is what we wanted to do. So open the browser, navigate to this, enter username, password, and click on login button, all this stuff, right? So this way you can automate any websites. Now you take some other sample websites, or use this demo web shop that I was saying, right? So you can use this demo web shop, and then in this or if you have any other, or use the same website only, and give this proper username password. After logging, you can do some other stuff. See what else, what other scenario you want to automate it. So if you can come up with some scenario, you can even do that. So yeah, this is for now. I guess we are good initially to start with. So we know how to locate element, we know which. So only thing is, to automate, we have to know what steps, what are. So yeah, this is it. So yeah, anyone have any doubts, someone wants to ask? So if we don't have, then I guess we are good to close the session. Thank you everyone.